Hey, everybody, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Let me adjust my camera here. Savage AF is the name of the show, y'all. Coming in hot on y'all. Cheers. Like I said, happy Tuesday. It's happy hour somewhere. Savage AF is the name of the show. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. I'm Black Pedro. Comedian Shane will not be here. Usually he's to my virtual. Well, for me, it's my right, but maybe on your screen it looks like my left. Whatever. He's usually right here, but he's not. Not going to make the show today. So you know what we call these, a Dro Solo edition. Black Pedro holding it down, man. Savage AF, we are here for you guys Monday through Friday. New time alert, 3 p.m. every day now. Okay, no more of that 6 p.m. stuff in the middle of the week. All right, so Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We doing a Dro Solo, man. Big up. I'm going to shout y'all out early. Bronda, Queen B, Sirius Jess, what up, though? Yo. Evelyn Gatlin, Breezy JJ, my mama's in the house. Damani, Maya, Yanni. I see y'all, man. Jonathan. Pam Knox, go ahead, man. No other Miranda, what up, though, as well. Miss Adverb is every woman. All right, well, we got a full house there. It's ladies' night. All right, man, so we are here for you live, YouTube and Facebook at the same damn time. And when I say we, today I mean me. Just bear with me, guys. I want some people might chime in, not know the show, and be like, he thinks he's more than one person. I'm a Gemini, so we do tend to think like that. I think Gemini season just ended today, so it's all good. Move on to that Cancer shit. Anyways, my sister's a Cancer. I joke. I kid. If you ever miss us live, obviously, much like me, you abuse drugs, okay? Get your shit together. And then once you do that, you can find rehabilitation in the form of our YouTube channel, youtube.com/C/SavageAF World, all one word. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And when I say C, I literally mean the letter C. Savage AF, okay? World, all one word. That being said, you can also follow myself and Shang. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if the stats are out officially yet, but I think it's about 13 comics die per minute from a lack of following on Instagram. So make sure you get at Black Pedro. Okay, that's me. And then at Comedian Shang. Okay, that's me again. Oh, that's not me, but that's the homie. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we do it, man. We build up those followings so that yeah, my mom will love me again. Anyways, that means that I can't have too much more to say. I will say that it is going down this weekend. I need to confirm Saturday, but it's definitely going down Friday. This Friday, right here in Los Angeles, Comedy Boulevard. I'm gonna be posting an Eventbrite for it, but yeah, come through, y'all, man. 8 p.m. show. I'm gonna be doing a longer set. It's gonna be a good old time, man. So make sure you guys get at me about that. Another tool for Instagram here. You can always DM me. That's direct message for those non-hipsters out there. And yeah, we'll get this whole thing done. So yeah, if you're in Los Angeles, I'm on this Friday at the Comedy Boulevard. Let me put it right back up there. A new venue, new spot. Shout out Jason Rogers. So gonna be a good time, man. Holler at me about that. And that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's show. It is Tuesday, June 21st, 2022, the year of your Lord. Okay. Savage AF, fuck your feelings. Facts matter. Okay. I am Black Pedro. Shang is MIA today. Well, yeah, he informed me that he wasn't going to be here. So I don't want you to think he's like missing. Don't put an APB out on the MIA. Okay. Not ASAP. Also, bear with me on the show today. Pace is going to be a little bit different. It's hard for me to, talk, read, and drink at the same time, and then process your comments while drinking, while responding, while talking. So just, ride with me, y'all. You know how we do this, man. All right. So we're going to get into this. All right. It is, but I do have a solution though. I think I'm going to take certain points where I pause from the subject and spend some time in the comment section just to try and catch up rather than trying to do both and being distracted. So bear with me on the comments, but I will be with y'all. We're going to end with a Black Pedro popping today. The whole show is just me popping. I'm popped. I'm in. But anyways, it's just me. Church versus state. Let's talk about it. Okay. Before we get into that, though, you know how they say everything's bigger in Texas, except for balls, apparently. Cojones, okay? Let's talk about the Uvalde police as more evidence has come out, or more information, I should say. But before we get into that, I do have one of those today on the, I believe this was the third day of testimony, because they only did 2 last week, right? One got postponed, maybe. Yeah. So this is the third episode of the January 6th committee saga. And when you hear some of this testimony that we got today, it truly will make you say,
motherfucker, say what? Yeah. Motherfucker, say what? Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
All righty then. Today brought about a lot. Okay. We had, like I said, our third day of the January 6th committee hearings to investigate any potential criminal activity, leading up to and on the day of and therefore after. But we saw some familiar faces, some old friends from during the pandemic when we were all just sitting around and you couldn't watch much else. Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, who's, judging by this picture, is very good at counting. He's like, I dis many. I dis many. I dis. But no, seriously, he oversaw the election and several recounts. I think they recounted them 3 times, twice by machine and once by hand. And there was no significant variance in the number between what they counted and the number of votes, or registered voters who participated. So that's what we call accurate. So Brad was these many. We also saw Gabe Sterling. I forget what his official title was. Sorry, I just blanked on that. But he was one of the governors, or overseers. That's probably in Georgia not a great word, but administrators of the election process in Georgia, and also oversaw the recounts. And he kind of looks like a failed stand-up comedian who's great at doing taxes. But he also was the kind of first one to kind of call Trump out and was like, stop talking like this. You're going to get somebody killed. Right. That was shortly after the election. But the star of at least the first part of the hearing today was this man, Rusty Bowers. He's the head of the Arizona State House, the Arizona State Assembly, and he, yeah, a guy I was not familiar with at all. But he gave my favorite nugget. And by the way, before I get too far into this, don't let any of this fool you, okay, guys? Um, Raffensperger, Sterling, Bowers, Rusty Bowers. By the way, that the name sounds like he's a NASCAR driver. But as you can see from this picture here, he could easily be a Nazi, right? Like, just these are all guys who supported Donald Trump before the election, all voted for him personally. All of them wanted to see him win. But as we learned today, and well, we already knew Raffensperger and Sterling, but as we found out today, this Rusty Bowers as well, these men also, and I'll give credit where it's due, stood up at the time when they were supposed to and did the right thing, right? They did their job. And then, in this day and age, especially among the Republican Party, to see somebody actually be, to use the word noble and do their fucking jobs, live up to the Constitution, was a bit of a breath of fresh air, as they say. So, let's not, I'm not going to build campfires for these dudes or erect monuments to them just yet, because, other than an insurrection, they would be total dipshits to me. And I mean that, as respectfully as possible. But I do recognize that, during this time when the president of the United States at that time was actively plotting to stay in power, even though he lost an election, these men stood up and they did their business. I guess the importance of it today was it was some more of just like how much he was told, Trumpty Dumpty, that is, that there was no path, towards it. And Giuliani and Eastman and all these guys were clearly told that there is no way on God's green earth that they can overturn an election or they recounted all the votes. There's no fraud. There's no fraud. Like, he's just to over and over again, there was no election fraud. So that was just, I mean, things we know, right? It's just you preaching to the choir. But these are things that the committee is using. They just want to lay out that he was told. Oh, this is the fourth day, my mother said. Did I miss a day? It should be. Did they because they postponed the Wednesday last week. Did they do back to back? Did they do one Friday? What did I miss? I got too high. Anyways, whatever. But thank you for the clarifications. That's why we keep the audience in there. And let me see what people are saying here. Let me see. Oh yeah, the hobo bitch saga. Miss Adverb can't let it go. She can't pay child support, but yeah, but she want to hobo me to death. What up? Carolina Boss, what's going on, man? And I saw that info you sent me, man. I just got to look it up a little bit more, and then I want to talk about it, bro. Let me see. All right, so I see y'all out there. Maya Baker says they suck in Arizona. They do, but this guy again, Rusty Fast Foot Bowers. I'm sorry, it just sounds like a NASCAR name, Rusty Bowers from Tennessee. But they came out on top today, like, and really what was and we're gonna talk about it even more in the next witnesses. Oh, I forgot to pull their names in. God damn it, their pictures in. Let me see if I can do that and talk to y'all and drink and read the comment section and be savage AF. But you heard these stories from these guys about how their families have been affected, the threats that they've received. And it's you got to be a human to understand. Like, it would get you if you had people sending you death threats, calling your phone, the the heavy breath shit or whatever. It's all creepy shit, right? Nobody wants to really go through that. But let me see. But so that was the thing. It like really humanized the event, right? To know that, and this is even pre January 6th. This is pre insurrection, right? This is um, from the time of the election itself and the results being announced, leading up to the insurrection. Um, but you have sorry, I'm just trying to pull one thing in right quick. Boom, got that. All right, so this is really a moment where they use to like sort of humanize this event, so that it's not just about the politics of it and the conspiracy and the insurrection, but it's like, no, Trumpty Dumpty made people targets. You know, they turned Brad Raffensperger and Gabe Sterling and Rusty Bowers into targets. He weaponized his base against them. Um, and that stuff, all of these gentlemen had, uh, they had stories of how it extended to their families. From offspring to spouses. Um, you know, it really shows just how like Trumpty Dumpty's base also is just legitimately cracker shit crazy, like cracker bat shit, orc minded horde monkeys. You know what I mean? Just stick them and they are like they're just these tribal barbarian minded hooligan thug nuggets. You know what I mean? And they'll take information and do anything with it. Here's my moment of the day. Before I keep get to another very important part of this, though, is was of course, I think Rudy Giuliani, Nosferatu, the drippy haired vampire. Um, he once again was a star, by proxy, um, as Rusty Bowers, Arizona House leader, state House leader. He Yeah, he said that in a meeting with Giuliani, they're talking all this fraud shit, talking all this fraud shit. He's like, and Bowers is like, well, let me see your fraud shit. And Giuliani literally, and you see it on the screen, he said, well, we don't have evidence, but we have a lot of theories. And that's the motherfucker say what part for me, right? Because a lot of this behavior isn't surprising, although it's, appalling and infuriating in a lot of ways. But at this point, we can't be too surprised by this crowd. Uh-oh, Phenom Brown got one for me. I call him Fuliani. There you go. I like that. I like that. Yes, I like that. Yeah, so but to hear Rusty Bowers, and Rusty Bowers is like, I don't know if it was just a gaffe or he wasn't thinking before he spoke, but it's just like it's a really fucking crazy thing to say out loud, like as a grown man, to like just openly admit that, like quiet part out loud. Like, are you stupid, or do you think everybody's just in a? And I think that's another thing, is that another one of the quotes, because there was other like video testimony from previous interviews, that Trumpty Dumpty was like, well, we're all Republicans, but what's the problem here? I think his inner circle really had this mentality of like, they'll just go along with it because like, it's good, it'll be for the party, and whatever. And it's like, what the fuck, bro? But to be like, we don't have evidence, but we have lots of theories. I mean, that's a that's a sociopathic, but it's almost borderline psychopathic. I'm like, do you have pudding in your nose or your ears or something? Like, what's wrong with you? Are you fucking? Did somebody hit you with a brick this morning? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you, even if you thought that, like, why would you say it out loud? Like, god damn. But anyways, man, there was also, another set of stars during today's hearing. And let me actually upload it here. But this was and these two ladies I wasn't really um familiar with their story. I like heard in the wind that there were like local election workers, basically not even like overseeing officials, who have been harassed, and there was some racism involved in it and blah blah blah. But and I didn't mean to blah 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 it like that. You know what I mean? Where'd it go? Oh, did this not pull in? God damn it! I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it's not a JPEG. Fucking A. Anyways, Shay Moses and Lady Ruby, her mother. These are two black women who have, and Shay Moses in particular. She, you know, worked basically for the elections committee of Secretary of State sort of thing, where she would help register voters. And she mentioned that she really loved doing the job because, and I'm sorry I couldn't bring a picture of them in. The one I downloaded isn't compatible with the fucking platform here. But sorry. But these two black women, mother and daughter. The daughter, worked for the elections department, and she would help register voters. She mentioned that she really loved talking to older voters because they would call and talk on the phone and, really need help, couldn't work the apps. So she would make sure they got their mail-in ballots or made sure they got all the information they needed in the mail. And she, it was just like one of those people you could really tell who like loved doing her job because it gave her a sense of purpose in a very positive way. You know what I mean? Like some people define themselves by their job in a negative way, but this was, I think, somebody who saw that she was really helping, especially her community. She mentioned, knowing so many black elders who didn't have the right to vote. Her grandmother taught her how important us exercising our right to vote is. And I want all of those who are like, man, fuck voting, to keep that in mind, that it is truly important. But in that sense, this is just, she and she also helps to process and count votes, right? During election cycles, has worked this way for years. And so this is truly just a person who's like, just a person, like a cog in the machine that's doing her job and doing, the honest work. No, she has no influence or power over things in that sense, and doesn't make decisions like that, but just kind of helping the process move along in this positive way again. Well, she eventually got called out in that whole, I don't know, the right and the QAnon and all that. They got the whole, some suitcase of ballots got stuffed under a table, and then they were all votes for Biden, and they got fed through some shit like that. When it's, again, no evidence, just a whole lot of theories. And in that process, I guess they were in the video somehow or whatever, because they were working there. And when I say they, Shay would have her mother, Lady Ruby, as she went by, or goes by. Well, we'll get into that. But Lady Ruby and Shay, mother and daughter, they they're on election day counting votes and whatnot. And the county registrar's office. All right, thank you, Miss Averb. That's where she worked, the registrar's office. Cheers. So I'm like, she worked at the voting mart down at Vote Mart. Yeah, she was the checkout lady and the night manager. Down at Ballots R Us. Yeah, man. You remember she used to be outside. She worked at valet and then go around and then check out your ballots. Yes, the county registrar's office. With your fancy words. Go back to talking about hobo hoes, Miss Aver. God damn it. All right. So these ladies got caught up in this whole ballot suitcase scandal, and Rudy Giuliani is like the first one to call him out by name, and then Trumpty Dumpty goes out and basically weaponizes his crowd against these women to the point in which their lives became hell. But unlike the Brad Ravenburgers, Gabe Sterling, or your Rusty Bowers, um, I guess for me, to be honest, this is like white on white crime that and they were Trump supporters. So it's kind of, you got what you you got what you paid for. But although you don't want to see them hurt, or their family members going through any of this shit, and this is not the way that Trumpty Dumpty supporters should be acting. But that being said, it slaps different when you got two black women, a mother and a daughter, in Georgia being harassed by the cracker horde, cracker monkeys, right? And the threats they talked about were different because they were racist in nature. I mean, even as Rudy Giuliani said that Shay Moses was passing around USB drives like they were crack vials. What's on those drives? But she was passing them around like they were crack vials. I mean, that's not even quite subtle racism, right? Like, that's like all the way in your motherfucking face. Race. All right. So, and oh, by the way, it turns out those were actually ginger mints, according to Shay Moses. So, and not USB drives. But yeah, maybe there were Russian secrets inside the mints, or I don't know, Italian satellite receivers. So I don't know. But and Trumpty Dumpty called them hustlers. That hits hard. So there was this obvious layer of race that was going to be there in Georgia that was applied to the threats against these women again, to the point in which especially Shay Moses seemed to have withdrawn from life. She's like, I gained 60 pounds. I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. Both women were scared for their names to be said in public out loud because they don't know who's listening or watching. That's a fucked up way to live, man. Especially for somebody who was really just doing their job, like not doing anything, no conspirator of any sense, So, yes, there is a blue light special at the registrar's office. Make sure you get on down here before 7 p.m. But yeah, man, it's just like that hit hard to see that, and you can and this was the emotional part because the guys, I mean, there was a bit of emotion to Rusty Bowers, I admit, but it was much more palpable with Shay Moses, and her mother sat behind her, did not speak today, but left a lot of video testimony from her previous interview, or so, and she talked about having to leave her home for 2 months leading up to January 6th. Was contacted by the FBI and advised not to be in her home. She ended up not being in her own home for 2 months for safety reasons. And then Shay also talked about her grandmother. And this was another motherfucker say what part of it. Because this takes me back to that Cedric joke, Cedric the Entertainer from Kings of Comedy, where it's like, white people are like, well, I hope nobody protests outside of our house. And I'm like, I wish a motherfucker would show up to my mama or my grandmama house, nigga, trying to wild out. And they showed up to her grandmother's house, bro, and like forced their way in her house, talking about they looking for Shay. Where's Shay? I'm like, no. I'm scared, bro. I'm pulling up hot, tot. Bro, we clearing that lawn quick. Trust me on that. I can't even lie about that. Rain of Love, welcome to it. Yeah. Oh, Yanni made a good point. He's like, that's great that they informed her that she should get the fuck out, but they couldn't protect her. Yeah, it didn't sound like they had applied any resources towards that end of it, but a heads up is better than no heads up, I guess. And yes, it's very, very old school tactics there. Breezy JJ's girl, what you sipping on over there? She's like, trespassers get holes. Swiss cheese, them motherfuckers. Hey man, I don't mean to get y'all riled up, but that shit got my blood up. I was like, please listen, please, America, take this clip, pass it around, let it go viral. Do not. If I ever say anything that pisses you off or do some shit, put whatever, that do not show up at my mama's house banging on her door. Because the second, because Shay Moses was like, my grandmother, she's like, I've never even seen her cry. And she's a strong, silent woman. And she called her up like, Shay, Shay. And she was like, her grandmama was screaming her head off and fucking, terrified. And if y'all ever pull up at my mama's house like that, nigga, yeah. Savage AF, nigga, fuck your feelings. But yeah, so there was so today really humanized, while also pointing out the facts that over and over and over, Trumpty Dumpty, and his whole camp, Eastman, Giuliani, they were constantly told that there was no election fraud. They went ahead with it anyways. They were also told that there's no. Oh, another important factor for me, and I thought I was going to keep this brief, but this shit has me wrapped up, was that the electors, the fake electors thing. And this one got me excited because I think back when it was first reported that this happened, I think I may have said that this could be the one, because that's what it strikes me as in my non-legal mind or whatever, not knowing what the hell I'm talking about. This seems like the most obvious bit of illegality, right? A true conspiracy to take people and use them to replace other people as the electors of a given state. They created fake certification papers and told these people to sign them, and it will only be used if Trumpty Dumpty won in a court case, which he did not. But they went ahead with it anyway, and had serious plans and plots to, like, there was one plot for the people to sleep in the state house, like hide in the state house and sleep, so that they could be there the next day already inside when it was time to certify. So there was this real plot and a partially executed plan to replace, like physically replace people with other people, and then use fake papers to give a fake result. I'm like, that really, some of this other shit might be hard to prove, like his intent or what he believed or what he knew or what, but like when you can see that he was a part of, yes, let's take our people and use them to replace the official people and which I'm talking about the people in each of these swing states who actually certify their state's votes. This is part of the electoral college, right? Those people, they created fake papers. So I'm like, I feel like this is your hook. Merrick Garland, calling Merrick Garland, attention all ballot March shoppers. Attention all votes are us sharpers. Blue Night Special, we are looking for guest Merrick Garland. You left your balls at the counter. Merrick Garland, you left your balls at the counter. But this seems like it. God damn it! They created fake papers. That's physical shit. They got messages of people trying to get it into Mike Pence's hands, and Mike's people are like, "Don't bring that shit over here." So, I feel like, yeah, it's craziness. And you know what? Yanni says they found fake votes. By the way, they were Republican ones. Absolutely. And when they did all the recounts in Georgia, I think, or was it Arizona? But in one of the states where they did recounts, they actually found that they had undercounted for Biden. He actually ended up with more votes and a bigger lead than he had going pre-recount. So I don't know what you say then. You know what? Let's stick with the old count. Just saying, nah, nigga, fuck out of here. But again, kudos to the January 6th Select Committee. I think they are doing a great job of building a case. It probably will go all fuck to hell and nothing will happen. And then we'll be at war in about a year and a half. But nice try. Good job of building the case, though. I got to admit that. That's it. Savage AF, y'all, fuck your feelings, facts matter. I'm gonna keep it pushing. This is a Dro solo edition. Comedian Shang will be right back here with me tomorrow, but make sure you're following him on Instagram at Comedian Shang and myself as well. You see it right here at the bottom of the screen in the corner, at Black Pedro. So Select Committee is doing a good job. The January 6th committee is doing a good job. Let's talk about somebody who's not. The Uvalde police. They say everything's bigger in Texas, except for these guys' balls. What we are discovering as of today, due to new evidence, is that they say it took 24 seconds for the shooter to enter the school. 3 minutes later, police were on the scene. And then 19 minutes after the shooter enters the school, they're in there like this, as you see on the screen here. Tactical gear on. I see a helmet. I see 2 tactical shields and rifles, ARs. This pretty much looks takedown shooter ready. They didn't bust into the room for another, I think, 59 minutes. So, and my legs would hurt if I stand, I take yoga and stuff, but like my legs would hurt if I just had to stand there like that. And guns are heavy. So it's just it seemed like after a while, one of them would be like, hey man, can we just, I'm getting kind of tired, bro. Can we just go in? Or like, even on like every cop movie you see or some shit like that, there's always one cop that's like, fuck that, man. I'm doing this my way. I'm going in. You telling me there wasn't one fucking psycho cop ranger motherfucker who's like, I got this, man. I live for this shit. Just every one of them just kind of stood there. Just really? Pam Knox, you hit me with some random, but it's since he's from the D, my eyes clicked to it. Obi Trice out here stalking women and went to jail. Oh no. Obi, what happened, man? You supposed to take care of your homies, dog. You supposed to pay for everybody. No, I'm doing. All right. Yeah, just to jump off the last topic, I missed this one from Yanni, but let me do it. You guys are staring at a tree missing the forest. After the January 6th zombie attack, it's a miracle it ended like it did, and not as a full-on dictatorship. That's what's coming. I think in the last day of hearings, they had, not today, but the day before or whatever, there was a judge who was a Republican, a conservative judge, who was testifying that, our democracy is in danger. It's in jeopardy. And listen, here on Savage AF, the only trees I stare at, I roll into a blunt. Okay. I see the forest, Yanni. You know me, man. We know what's coming, bro. You've seen my journey. I was preparing for the come on, man. 2020. You know what I started doing, baby. So let's go. But yeah, man, back to the topic at hand. Speaking of war, the Uvalde police were not ready for it. But even though they 19 minutes, I mean, it took them 19 minutes to show up like this. But 3 minutes after the shooter came in and started shooting, and actually I said it took the shooter 24 seconds to enter the building. I think what they actually said was he started shooting 24 seconds after he entered the building. Sorry. So it took him 24 seconds to start shooting once he entered the building. Once he started shooting, it took the police 3 minutes to get there. Now, I would say that is an acceptable response time, right? For some cops to be there. But then because they only had pistols, I think we're instructed to move. And Arredondo, it sounds like, was telling them, kept calling in for gear and backup, and was saying we don't have enough firepower. It's only pistols here. So apparently that wasn't enough for them. But that being said, obviously the cops were there soon enough that they could have responded much more quickly. And they did eventually have the gear they needed to come in at least an hour before they actually entered the room. Now, if you really want to get a kick in the dick hole, first of all, you have to have a dick. It's kind of a requirement. But ladies, we can kick you in your pee hole if you want to, because this one's gonna hurt. There was the reports that Arredondo, the chief, they used all these different keys and he couldn't find the right key. Turns out that the door to the classroom was unfucking locked the whole time. Like Jake Tapper on CNN literally asked somebody, "Are the police ever trained to check the doorknob? Is this thing on? Are they trained to check the doorknob?" I mean, they're getting all kind of training in nigga choke techniques and how to break a neck and what parts of the back to shoot a brother in. But they ain't got no doorknob training. It's usually a clockwise motion to open it. I mean, depending on which way the handle faces and how it swings out, but I mean, to hear that the Uvalde police did not even check the door handle. Maya Baker said they were trying to lock the shooter in the classroom, not open it. That's not what these reports were saying today. Leading up to it, they were treating it as a barricaded situation. That's what all the information so far that I've seen and heard says, that they were treating it as a barricaded shooter situation, and we're looking for keys to get in the door. And they tried a whole bunch of keys and couldn't. And then it comes out today that it was actually like the head of the Department of Public Safety, who would oversees, the police, the Texas Department of Public Safety. He oversees, all police departments. He was in front of a deposition today, and he stated that, and he was grilling this motherfucking police department for being, shit buckets. So I don't think they were trying to lock him in. They were trying to get in, and nobody checked the fucking door. Again, that's according to Texas, the head of Texas Public Safety. So, I think we're just dealing with Keystone cops. Or I don't know. It's a highly Latino community, so maybe we call them queso cops or whatever. I don't know, but this Miss Adverb said they were treating it as a drill. Breezy said they were overthinking it. Absolutely. At some point, they I'll give you that there, or just underthinking. Absolutely. They were either overthinking or just like just went blank. But at some point, action was called for, and there's not much to think about. And all of these actions were, and many officers from, because a lot of this training. I mean, these school shootings, while they may happen in certain states, they aren't isolated to any given. While they might happen in certain states more than others, as we see, they're not isolated to any. Anybody could get it out here, right? The way America is. So this training that these officers have is kind of on a nationwide standardized platform now of how to handle, active shooters in a public setting, whether it be a school or the mall or wherever. Is you get in there as fast as possible. Because originally they used to wait for more weapons, for backup with more armor and better weapons to come. And they found that when you wait, more people die. So now the theory is, the training is, get your ass in there. When you get there, form a team and get the fuck in there right now. And none of them did that shit. I mean, they got in there, but then they didn't do shit. They was just in the hallway for fucking 78 minutes, man. Standing in front of an unlocked door trying to figure out how to open it. Raina said they claimed they were just trained in active shooting. I mean, 21 motherfuckers dead. I'd call that an active shooter. The motherfucker's hella active. Yay area where you at? That nigga was hella active. I don't know where the Texas Rangers were. I think it ended up being Border Patrol agents who actually made a move on the room, if I heard correctly. And again, we know the narrative, Yanni, but I'm gonna put it up there. If it was a white kids school, they would have been there in 10 seconds. Latin kids school, they handcuff a mom. They handcuff a mom. I know what you mean. That later saved her own kids. You got to understand, though, a lot of this, again, the whole area is extremely, that town is extremely Latino, Mexican American. And so even the police force, I mean, the chief that we're shitting on, his face is on the screen right now in front of me, Pedro Arredondo. I mean, these are, it's a highly Latino community. It's so, and again, they got there quickly. I think 3 minutes is a fairly, it seems like there would be somebody on, oh yeah, the officer was supposed to be there, wasn't. But either way, 3 minute response time for police in general seems acceptable to me. But the lack of action once they got there, I don't think this was about race, because you are dealing with a predominantly Latino force and community and school. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was. I mean, I think this is just. But I feel you on it, Yanni. You know what I'm saying? I know what you mean. But in this particular case, because the day that's responding are not a bunch of white cops, right? It was, a lot of Latino cops as well. So, and they're led by a Latino man. This ain't a race thing. This is just about cowardice and incompetence, and a breach, honestly, a breach of training. Excuse me. You got they're trained to get in there, and these guys did not do that. So, Miss Adverb's like it could have ended in 4 minutes. Then, I mean, see what I'm talking about? You get there 3 minutes after. You get in there, you find out where it is. You get at the dude, man. You get at him, or you die trying. I mean, that is, as crazy as that sounds, it is the reality that yes, when you sign up to be a law enforcement officer, it is protect and serve, right? That might be LA's specific motto, but LAPD, but that's the job. Serve the community, protect them, but serve the community by protecting it. And you are supposed to put your life in harm's way for the sake of the community. That is a requirement of the job. Nobody wants to die like that, but like if you sign up for that job, that's supposed to be the gig. So yeah, there we are with that. I need to get out of here, guys. But the more this unfolds, you almost feel like there should be some criminal action taken against, some punitive action taken against Arredondo and anybody else who was making these bad calls. And it shows that, every police force kind of needs a Mel Gibson, a non-racist one, but I mean from like Lethal Weapon, who's just like, he would have gone in there and like jumped off the roof with the shooter or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be a little nuts to go in there. But don't overthink it, guys. Just get in there, guys. All right, man. I'm gonna keep it moving. We have come to the end of today's show almost. But before I leave you, man, I always got some little sweets for the babies, for the kids. Oh, that don't even sound right. I'm gonna have to sell my van now. We're gonna do a little something like this, yo.
Hey, it's your boy Black Pedro, popping in, hey, with another poppin' to let you know what's poppin'.
Hey, it's your boy Black Pedro with another poppin'. Oh shit, it's the cops. I make one candy in the van joke. God damn. Fucking neighbors. It's your boy Black Pedro with another pop in the They really got to put up. I live a block from a hospital at the worst intersection in LA, and it seemed, and yeah, it's coming up. It's rush hour, so somebody out here getting all fucked up on the road. All right, man. Your boy Black Pedro with another poppin' to let you know what's popping. Before I get out of here, I do want to talk about church and state. No, it's not some trendy nightclub in Manhattan or some vegan eatery where you only eat with your hands and there are no napkins. This I'm talking about is America. One of the most important concepts in our democracy is the separation of church, which is a word being used at this point to symbolize religion in general. So a separation of religion and the state, which is in this sense a word meant to symbolize the law. Let's separate our religion from the laws that we make, because we don't have religion, right? You're free to be as religious as you want to or not, but we as America do not have a religion. Oh, they put "In God We Trust" on the money, but they don't say which God. While also totally infusing religion into our laws. We see it in our, in the whole abortion fight is completely wrapped up in, is completely wrapped up in a religious argument, right? That's totally based on biblical stuff. But when you have, and she is one of my favorites on this planet, Supreme Court Justice, I should say. Let me start that over. When you have Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who is basically diming on her conservative peers, or not that, on her fellow bench, her fellow justices who are on the conservative side. She's diming on them now and saying that they are blurring the lines between church and state. I guess in a recent ruling they just had, John Roberts laid the decision down that it was unconstitutional to deny a religious school state funding. But that was all, and let me see. Sorry, let me actually pull up the actual quote so I could actually be right. But in a recent ruling, so let me see. Let me read it here, and I'm getting this from The Guardian. All right, so this is a case from Maine. It says, in the Maine case, John Roberts, the Chief Justice, he's the one who fucked up Barack Obama's swearing in. In the Maine case, and I mean Maine, the state of Maine, M-A-I-N-E. In the Maine case, John Roberts, the Chief Justice, wrote for the conservative majority. In Roberts' view, the tuition program violated the free exercise clause of the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution because it said private schools were eligible to receive the payments so long as they were non-sectarian. So Roberts, he went on to say, regardless of how the benefit and restriction are described, the program operates to identify and exclude otherwise eligible schools on the basis of their religious exercise. I mean, yeah, in terms of state funding, yeah. Like that was the point. It was like, now I don't want my tax dollars going to the religious school. I don't. Like that's some really, like, religion is some really private shit. Really, like for real, right? Like it's just we are not a religious state. This is not a Christian country. Please stop with that. This is not a Christian country. If it is, I'm getting the fuck out of here. If it was, where my bag's at. I don't want to live in no religious country. It could be a bunch of religious people here, but I don't want to live in no fucking religious country that makes its laws based on religion. Because there's not one here. There's not supposed to be one here. So I don't know how the fuck you would even work that out. So that's why you need to leave it the fuck out of the legislature in all absolute terms. So if you want to see me really get riled up, start making me do your religious shit. Start making me do your motherfucking religious shit, and I'm gonna fuck you up. You understand me? Like, we're gonna fight, dog. That will really get me up out of my seat. We ain't doing that. All right? That is not happening. Because once we get there, then it gets off into crazy town. And we know who these religious motherfuckers are. They're the craziest motherfuckers. They hate gay people because they go out every weekend and desire dick in their mouth. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of hypocritical bullshit that I'm not about to live under. So fuck all of that. Well, okay, so Yanni's like, really? Like, we not a Christian country? Outside of most of California and NYC, it's pretty Christian. So I'm making that distinction. Like, I think I said that. Like, I know it's a lot. It could be a lot of religious people here. I know. I get how it does. Yes, there's a bunch of Christians here, but we can't be a Christian country, right? When I say we are a Christian country, I mean we are led and not even just led, but governed by Christian value. Like, imagine if we threw away the Constitution and made American laws based on the fucking Bible. Like, the 10 Commandments are the laws of the land now. Nigga, half y'all getting y'all dicks chopped off, hand chopped off, head chopped off, burned at the stake, fed to a lion or some shit. No, if you ever want to live, if you ever want to be governed by the Bible, you are an insane masochist. You understand me? Carolina Boss said infidels. Bro, all of us would be getting stoned. All of us would be getting stoned. Look at me. I'd be like, yeah, guys, cheers. Like, pew, pew. And then that's the other thing. They would shoot, thou shalt not kill unless God tells me to. The Bible says, ye shall strike down all ye who try to strike down ye upon that. And yeah, I'm not using ye. I don't like Kanye or ye or none of these niggas. So fuck that. So that's my little spill for today, guys. I'm an infidel, I guess, but whatever. Miss Adverb said, but we are one nation under God, indivisible. Until January 6th. And again, it just says under God, but it doesn't say which God. Who we talking about? Yahweh, Hova? You know what I'm saying? Elohim? You know, Buddha? Allah? Come on, man. What we talking about? Under God? Go on with that. That's what churches are for. That's what churches are for. State houses, legislative body places. Leave your Bible out of it. We even swear in presidents on Bibles. Yep, Sirius just brings it up too. He says they don't really live by the Bible anyway. They just selectively use it to further their selfish agendas. Absolutely. And that applies, I think, specifically to those in power on a macro level, but even on a personal level, you know, like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about that, the bouginess of some religious people, where you ever just, somebody, especially on a Sunday, you get this a lot, like, how you doing today? And they be like, I'm favored. And then walk away. I'm like, you're favored? You about to be flavored. You about to taste like the floor. I drop your ass. And the idea of us being one nation right now, indivisible, shit. There's a lot of math going on January 6th. There's a lot of division. Sirius just said Jesus would not be down with the GOP. Amen to that. Let the church sing, man. Miss Adverb is flavored. Sofrito. Little spicy thing, y'all stupid. Listen, man. stay favored if you want to, but stay the fuck out my way with your religion, all right? This is piece of shit country for the next 5 to 7 years that it might last. Shall not be run as long as I'm alive by nobody's church. You understand me? Unless his church is chicken. Right? I'm not saying it's the best, but we used to kill it back in the day. And that corn, I used to fuck that corn up. I ain't gonna lie, dog. You know, you grow up, your palate develops. But yeah, we can talk about it later. I know that's gonna be a controversy because some people think church's chicken is the devil's scrotum. And I think that's KFC, but whatever. I don't really want to end today's show with a chicken debate. Jesus is down with OPP. Girl, you are stupid. Come on, Ms. Adverb, concentrate. All right, man, that's it for me today. Separate that church and state, and let's keep it moving, y'all. Savage AF, Dro Solo Edition. Fuck your feelings. If you didn't like it, do something about it. Fuck your feelings. Facts matter. There will be a we tomorrow. God damn it. Not by Nintendo. I mean, 2 of us. Myself. And then when I do this, Shang gonna be right here. Or like right here. Like here. So yeah, we're gonna get that together. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, let's not forget that. Savage AF right here on YouTube, Facebook. Oh, make sure you follow our Facebook page as well. It's Savage A.F. Savage A.F. on the Book of Face, the Meta World Peace. That being said, guys, for the next 23 hours, I want you to, be kind, be aware, stay black if you're black, and keep your finger out your nose, man.